Yep, so leptin. So then one such hormone is leptin. So here's your brain, and you're thinking about a burger. You're thinking about a lunch. You want your lunch or dinner, a burger, or if you're a vegan, veggie burger. But thing is that adipocytes, these fat cells, secrete leptin, this hormone called leptin. And what does leptin do? So the interesting thing is that leptin is a peptide hormone, as you can see by this kind of ribbon structure here. And it acts upon this, your hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus is not only important in regulating your pituitary gland, it's also one of the major centers that regulate your overall hunger. So what leptin does is that when it acts upon the hypothalamus, it turns off your hunger signals. So if you secrete a lot of leptin and leptin has its effects, it turns off those hunger signals in your brain. And then there's another hormone called ghrelin. So ghrelin is not produced by adipose, but just like insulin and glucagon, so ghrelin, or let's rewind a bit, ghrelin is secreted primarily by your stomach. There are other organs, but your stomach is the major source of ghrelin. So it increases your hunger, and then it also increases your digestive activity. So the interesting thing is that what type of hormone is ghrelin? Notice that it's another ribbon structure, all these amino acids. It's another peptide hormone. It also targets the hypothalamus, so leptin turns off your hunger signals. Ghrelin activates it more. It increases your hunger. And so just like insulin and glucagon oppose each other, leptin and ghrelin are classic examples of two hormones that oppose each other. Leptin makes you less hungry, ghrelin makes you more hungry in general. So the interesting thing is they both target the hypothalamus, which regulates hunger, or one of the major organs that regulates hunger. All right, so then what happens to your ghrelin over time? Well, notice that the longer you go without eating, your ghrelin accumulates. But what happens here? Oh, you see a dip in ghrelin. Oh, ghrelin's accumulating. A dip in ghrelin. And ghrelin's accumulating again, and then, oh, we have a crashing ghrelin. So what do you think is happening after each of these peaks? What happens 3 times a day? Or on average, like some people might be doing intermittent fasting. You probably eat if you eat those 3 square meals a day, notice that the ghrelin crashes after each meal, right? So you gradually accumulate ghrelin, you get hungrier and hungrier, and then as soon as you eat, boom, ghrelin levels go down. So this is why ghrelin is also nicknamed the hunger hormone. So if you have an empty stomach, your empty stomach is going to produce more ghrelin. And then if you have a full stomach, you're going to produce less ghrelin. So this is why you see ghrelin peak and crash throughout the day. It depends on the distension or the amount of stretch in your stomach. Now leptin versus ghrelin. So this is why ghrelin is the hunger hormone produced by your stomach and other GI organs. Leptin, this is what you call it. It's also nicknamed the satiety hormone. So you're feeling satiated, you're feeling full and fine. You're not hungry anymore. And this is being secreted by adipocytes, so white adipose tissue. Or I think brown might do that as well. And ghrelin, so then I would have to look up caffeine and ghrelin too. Oh, that's a great mnemonic. Someone put in the chat, ghrelin equals growling. So ghrelin is growling. So your stomach is growling and it's hungry, so the hunger hormone. And it's secreted, the organ I definitely want you to know is the stomach. Other parts in your GI tract also secrete ghrelin as well, but the stomach is the one you should definitely know. And then both target the hypothalamus. Again, it's a center for your sensation and feelings of hunger in your body. And again, they both regulate appetite. Now let's go to Top Hat. Oh, another great mnemonic. Someone said leptin makes you thin. Leptin is thin. Ghrelin makes you gobble. Yeah, so classic this. So who produces the most leptin? Okay, let's see what people answered. So most of you said normal BMI, and second place obese BMI, and then last place overweight BMI, which is correct. So the person who is obese probably produces the most leptin. And why is that? So again, even though if you have an obese BMI doesn't mean that you will be, again, it's just measuring weight. But in general, obese BMI results in a bit, or is associated with a higher body fat percentage. So remember that leptin is produced by adipose, right? And leptin inhibits hunger and reduces appetite. So if this guy with obese BMI has a lot of adipose and is producing a lot of leptin, why would he be less hungry, and why wouldn't he have a reduced appetite? So who has the most leptin? This guy probably has the most leptin. Oh, finally the sensor bar is coming up for the twitch. Okay, so the interesting thing is that obese individuals have higher leptin concentrations in their blood. And if they have a high concentration of leptin, why are they still hungry, and why don't they feel satiated? So the interesting thing is that if you have chronically high leptin in your bloodstream, or leptinemia, is that, remember, like, what happens if you kind of overstimulate these signals or like if you overstimulate any sort of signals in your nervous system, what happens is that your nervous system kind of modulates that signal. It doesn't keep it at a high level over time. So if you have chronically high leptin concentrations in your bloodstream, the current theory is that, yeah, you're going to, as you keep on activating this leptin signaling, eventually your brain is going to turn down the signaling. And how does it do that? It downregulates or desensitizes the receptors. And actually, the lot of research is still being done on it to this day. So the thing is that leptin resistance. Now, I have to check another review because, like, I think even like 5 years ago this was kind of controversial. But this is one of the current leading theories as to why people who have obese BMI, they have high leptin, but they still feel hunger, right? So leptin resistance is one of the leading theories explaining why these individuals who have low body fat percentage are still hungry and don't have the reduced hunger. So leptin resistance, if you can throw all this leptin at your hypothalamus, but if these neurons are resistant, they're still going to feel the hunger because they're not getting that signaling from leptin. So this is one of the leading theories. I have to check the most recent reviews to see if it is the leading theory, but obese individuals have higher leptin concentrations in their blood on average. Now the thing is that chronically high leptin, this is the current theory, is it leads to leptin resistance. Just like the other theory that says, like, again, there's many things that can lead to insulin resistance, but hyperinsulinemia is thought to be one possible cause as well. So what we see in this leptin is something kind of similar in that theory.